Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. We got the entire squad on here today. We got Eric, Joey, Matt, and Mike, myself. We're going to be chatting a little bit today just about how we all got here, how we decided we wanted to come together and create some content for you and create a curated experience. So, what is Bogey Proof? I think really we're just a bunch of college buddies who enjoy spending time together, having a drink, and the overall experience that comes with visiting new places, playing new golf courses, and just spending time together. We've been lucky. We've gone on some nice trips. We've seen some cool places, and we've had some great afternoons. So we're hoping to come through and provide you guys with some fun content. So join the journey. Just like we start most of these off, we're going to just chat a little about, hey, what we're sipping on tonight. So I have a nice Cabernet from Argentina. I think it costs a total of $9.99 at the store, but I was using it for making a little dinner tonight, so it's going to work. Eric, what are you sipping on?
So I have got a glass of John J. Bowman bourbon. It is a Virginia bourbon. I figured what better way to kick off Bogey Proof, our first kind of real episode, than with a bourbon from pretty much right down the street from me here in Virginia. So that's what I've got. Mr. Matthew, what have you got?
I ran it back this week with Little Gentleman Jack yet again, and again, coming from you live from West Hartford, Connecticut in my roommate's office. So, Joey, what do you got up there?
I was ill-prepared. I don't have any bourbon, unfortunately. I'm just sipping on some water tonight, guys. Had a big tennis match with my buddy earlier before. Got to hydrate. First time exercising in a while, but I'll be prepared next time.
I can respect that.
Joseph, I respect the hell out of it. Not what I would be doing on a Tuesday night. But you are the pro of the group,
buddy. Get with it.
you are the pro of the group. So at some point you just got to act like it. We're
by name.
We're the AMs in the group, and just love to get out there and play some golf. But you're showing us the ropes. So Eric, why don't you tell everyone listening just a little bit about your background in golf and and your day-to-day job and, how you came to Bogey Proof.
Yeah. So, I would say I got a late start in the game of golf. I played it pretty casually, pretty recreationally up until I was about, 17 or 18. It's when I really kind of got the bug that they call it of the game of golf. And it really kind of growing up, I would just play all over the place in Connecticut. Every Monday I was lucky enough to be able to play at a private course that I worked at, that my dad also worked at in Connecticut. So that was kind of really what introduced me to nice golf courses in the game and kind of what really is out there with golf course architecture and some cool things that come along with that. And going into college, I played baseball freshman year of college and really had a blast. And that summer in between freshman and sophomore year kind of, lost my love for the game of baseball. And along with that, my love for the game of golf really kind of skyrocketed, and came back to school sophomore year and kind of said that baseball wasn't for me anymore, and walked into our golf coach's office, as you all know, and asked if I could join the team somehow, and played and practiced a couple of times that week. And after that, it's kind of history. I was, there for most of sophomore year for our golf season. And then, Mike, when you came in halfway through that year, I was pretty much kind of fully on the golf team at that point. And then junior and senior year really is when I kind of took that full dive into playing competitive golf for the first time really in my life. And looking back on it, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I played high school golf. I wish I played competitive junior golf, but at the same time, I'm having such a joy, even right now, 25, still discovering some of those new experiences and playing competitive golf, and now becoming a mid-am and kind of getting to experience that level of competitive golf. So that's kind of where I'm at with my golf life right now. And outside of golf, I work in the industry. I work at a private club in Virginia. Weirdly enough, I was having a conversation with a coworker this past week, and in 2021 will be the 10th year that I have worked at least 3 months or so in a private club. 2011 was the first year that I worked at a private club, and every year since I've spent at least the summer working in a private club. So it's pretty crazy to think that it's already been that long. But I would say that working in clubs really kind of is what drove my interest in golf back when I was 16, 17, 18. And then on the reverse side, golf is what kind of drove my interest in working in clubs as a career. And I don't work in the golf side of things. I work in the club management side of things, but having that golf background in my back pocket is something that has helped tremendously along the way so far. And
yeah, no, we're expecting some great things from Eric, and going to give us some insight, within the club management industry, and just how it operates. I think Matt and I are more on the the accounting, finance, corporate side of life at the moment, and obviously Joe will tell us a little bit about his career in the golf industry, but Eric's going to have unique insight, and I think he's going to offer some perspective to what we do and all the content we create. So looking forward to hearing more from you, Eric, and the guys. So Matt, why don't you kind of give us a little quick intro?
Yeah, of course. I think golf for me, it's really a family thing. I mean, I started playing golf when I was like 4. Like my grandpa cut his old set of clubs down, and I was out there swinging, as early as I can remember. So it's it's definitely a family thing for me, with kind of how it all started for me. And I've been playing, semi-competitive pretty much from an early age. I mean, nothing crazy with like you see now and all these junior tours and junior leagues and stuff like that. But growing up, it was like a tournament or two a summer, whatever kind of tournament it was, I would kind of play in one or two. But I started working at a local muni, probably as soon as I could legally work, at probably, so was that like 14, 13, whatever it is. So I started doing that pretty much right away, just, with the perk of having free golf at that place on the back end of that. And, played in high school and then played in college as well, kind of all 4 years. So yeah, it all starts with family for me. And then, it just had a passion for the competitive aspect of it, and kind of being, there's no teammates to blame or teammates to rely on, whatever way you want to look at it. It's just you and putting that stupid little ball in the hole. So I just kind of fell in love with the challenge of that. And I played golf, that's been kind of my passion ever since I started playing. So that's a lot of my golf side and golf background. And from there, I mean, outside of golf, like Mikey kind of alluded at, I work in accounting, at an accounting firm here in Connecticut. And so when I get away from that, I do like to do my golf, and it's definitely become more of a weekend warrior at the moment is kind of the role I play, but I'm enjoying it as much as I can. So looking forward to a little time off of the Thanksgiving break coming up, and try and sneak in a couple of November rounds here in New England.
Yeah, and I think you're going to be able to do that. The weather looks decent, at least. We're recording this on Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, and Wednesday and Friday look like pretty decent days, and as well as Saturday. So hopefully you'll get out there with the fam and with some friends. Matt and I have played quite a bit of golf together, and I would consider us to be 4-ball guys at this point in our career. Maybe a little bit on the back end of our individual competitive golf. Hopefully we'll change that here and, get back and shoot some low scores. But at the moment, we've had some success on the 4-ball front. So maybe we'll chat about that at a later time.
Right.
But Joey, why don't you give us a little history of kind of, where you started and where you are right now?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as you guys know, just a kid from upstate New York, but not much of a golfing background throughout my whole life. Only really been playing, I want to say 5 or 6 years now. It all really started going into my, our sophomore year of college, and then coincidentally lived with Eric that sophomore year of college. And, I really just caught the golf bug from there since. I would try to play and practice as much as I really could. That following summer, I got a job in maintenance just at a local country club. Got to use a range every single day. Got to play 3 times a week, so that really helped, improve my game. Summer following that, had a nice internship at a club up in down in North Carolina. That taught me a lot right there. I mean, I worked in the food and beverage industry there, and working at the course that I did, it made me realize that particular part of the business wasn't for me. I knew golf was something that I really wanted to do. So kind of just kept playing and practicing with time. And then, we graduated college, and I luckily got a job as an assistant professional in, another local country club of ours, and worked there for 2 seasons and kind of started going back and forth from Florida. And now I work at, as we were saying, I currently work in a club down in Florida, and then I work in another one up in New Hampshire, and I've been going back and forth for the past 2.5, 3 years now. So, I mean, we talk about the game of golf and what it's done for us, but, it's the first game that I've, playing baseball and basketball growing up, but it was the first game that I've truly, really ever fell in love with and always wanted to go back for more. After a bad game of baseball or basketball, you're just kind of pissed off and don't want to do anything. And that's not to say that's what golf does to you, doesn't do to you, because everyone knows that's what it does. But for some reason, it always gets you to go back. And, I never have more fun, even if I'm pissed off on a golf course. And, and trying to decide what I wanted to do with my career, everyone always says, do something you love, and, you never work another day in your life. And that's kind of why I chose trying to become a head professional, because, I really do go into work and I love what I do every single day, and I know not many people can say that. And, that's something that I see as a benefit for what I do, and getting to go out there and play golf every single day, just play or practice and work on your game. There's not much many things better than that. So, that's what the game is for me. But besides that, yeah, that's what we do in our spare time. That's literally all I do in my spare time. I golf, I work, I come home, I sleep, I eat, and it's rinse and repeat. It's the dull life I live, but I enjoy it for the most part.
A couple of drinks mixed in there.
Yeah. That is true. I don't drink as often as you guys do anymore. My college days are behind me, and we won't get into those details right now.
Yeah. Joe, I think when I think of you in the game of golf, a lot of people have heard the story of Sevi learned to play golf on a beach using clubs that were made out of wooden sticks, and he used to hit rocks on the beach.
Yeah.
And you have a similar path. You hit Busch Light cans in your college dorm room, right? So there's a small connection, but a connection, nonetheless. So
yeah, no,
those were the best days. We would be about 100 yards from the front door of our apartment sophomore year. Sometimes Matt would be with me, and we'd just hear music blasting. And we know that Joey's the only one in our apartment of the 6 of us that lived there. And we knew that when we'd open that door, he would be standing in the middle of our apartment, all the furniture pushed to the side, ripping Busch Light cans with a 7-iron.
It was a miracle that I could get a full swing in that. If I couldn't, I don't know what I would have done in my spare time in college. I don't know how I never took a picture of that, boys. That's a big regret right there.
Yeah. So, if Busch Light's out there, we're happy to take on a sponsorship from you guys.
Earned one.
Busch Classic, really, but that was just me. So.
Yeah. You're a big boy, so we know you're in
0.1% difference.
Yeah. So, Joe, appreciate kind of your perspective and looking to kind of give you give us and kind of the listeners and the readers of some of the stuff that we're doing, you know, that professional perspective, and, you know, just having a good time with it. And, but a little bit about myself and how I got into the, you know, how I kind of started with golf and the whole deal. Grew up around the game, grew up playing a bunch of other sports, played high school football, played basketball, played some lacrosse and baseball as well. And golf was just something I like to do and have fun with it. My dad had always played, and my mom grew up around it. Both her brothers are PGA professionals within here in Massachusetts, where I'm from originally. One of them played on now it's the Corn Ferry. It seems like it changes names every single year, for about 5 or 6 full seasons and some PGA Tour events along the way. So, you know, kind of had seen a few different things along the way, and, you know, what it takes to play high level competitive golf, but also just, you know, the great things that it brings to your life. You know, like Matt spoke on, it's a big thing in my family and something we do whenever we're home. You know, a lot of it's surrounded around golf. It's getting out there on the course and just enjoying that time together. So I was, you know, lucky enough to play college golf with Matt and Eric at the school we went to, and travel a little bit and playing some college, you know, playing some NCAA championships and conference championships, and play some awesome golf courses and just have some fun memories along the way. You know, a lot of absolutely ridiculous things happen when you get 5 guys in a van, with an 80-year-old coach who can barely drive. So you know, we saw some shit along the way, but we also made a lot of birdies and, you know, made some doubles and triples too, but
mixed in a couple times.
I think Fontaine made an 11 sometime, but it's not here or there. But yeah, golf's just been something I love to do from the time I was young, and kind of gravitated towards some competitive golf later. Now I'm kind of working in the accounting and finance realm. I work full time in Chicago, but, you know, with COVID and everything, spending some more time at home back in Massachusetts. So that's been a lot of fun as well. But, you know, love to get out there and hopefully, just like Eric, I just turned 25. So hopefully play some mid-am events and, you know, just make it happen. So, I think, you know, what I just touched on, the whole COVID piece, I think we've been able to connect a little bit as a group, a little more this year than usual. You know, usually we're all kind of buzzing around, and when the world's a little more open and there's more to do, I think it's just a little bit difficult to connect with people. And, you know, we've kind of been trapped in our houses, and, you know, it seems like our group messages go off a little bit more, and we're just kind of always constantly communicating. So this, you know, Bogey Proof as a whole just, you know, kind of manifested itself from us wanting to chat golf, you know, chat about that great bottle of wine that we had, or, you know, the bourbon that one of us just tried. And, you know, also just kind of like thinking about like our dreams as far as, you know, where do we want to go and travel and play some golf? Like, what's that view that we want to all be, you know, hanging out on the patio, smoking a cigar, playing some cards at 9 o'clock at night, and, you know, doing all those kind of things. So, you know, I think COVID's kind of brought us to a place that, you know, we want to have some more of those experiences, you know, when we possibly can. So, you know, Matt, I think I can kick it over to you as far as, you know, what is kind of the pandemic offered you the time to do, you know, that you previously weren't doing before. You know, speak about golf or speak about family or whatever the case may be. I just think it's interesting for people to kind of know, you know, how your mindset shifted and where you spend your time now.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you alluded to, right? I mean, we have a lot more time. We're home, right? Our group chats are popping off and all that kind of fun stuff on the side. And I think it just gave us, I mean, I cut out like 2 hours a day of commuting, right? I mean, I get that time back to myself now to do things like this that I enjoy doing, or even just, you know, consume more golf content, whether it's watching Golf Channel at night, or like, you know, recaps, old rounds, getting to catch some of the live coverage in the morning before logging on for work. All that kind of stuff I think is really cool that COVID has kind of given, you know, the unfortunate event that it is. There is some, you know, good things it's brought to the table as well. You know, early in the pandemic, with everything closing down, golf was really the only thing, at least depending on your state, I guess. But in Connecticut, we were able to still keep playing. And that was like the only thing you could do to get out of the house for the first 2-3 months of spring, right when COVID really kind of got going. And, I enjoyed that a lot. I played more golf this year than I probably ever have, just due to, taking commutes out, like you said, Mike, not being able to kind of get out and do as much and travel and stuff you might have had planned. And I think that's been, a silver lining, like things that you normally wouldn't have the time to do or never get around to. You've been able to kind of, all right, like now's the time, if not now, then when kind of deal. So I think that COVID's kind of allowed us to do a little bit more of that than we normally would do.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Maybe Eric and Joey, and we can start with Joey. Could you kind of just chat about, how has the golf season looked different because of everything going on? I know there's a lot more rounds being played. Kind of in your experience, what did kind of the golf season look like originally, and how has it kind of changed the last 9 months or so, with COVID going on?
Yeah. So I mean, so far down here in Florida, actually, it's not much seems really different, but not all of our membership is here. So I'm not really going to go into detail about down here, but up in New Hampshire, a smaller club, we never really did too many rounds. So, this season we didn't really know what to expect and what was going to happen. But I mean, as any golf club will tell you, I mean, it's been the busiest season that they've, ever had, whether it's public, private, resort, whatever it may be. But, there's been this boom in golf. And, as far as, working wise, I felt like I was working, double the time that I really did last summer. Granted, we did kind of lose an assistant, so that is partially why, but I mean, it was just a different environment from what I was used to that first year. I mean, there's, we would have so many beautiful sunny and 75 days last year, and there'd be 10 people on the play sheet. But like this year, we had more rounds over, more than 100 rounds in a day than like I could even ever have imagined of. So, I mean, the other reason why we were also so busy is just because with all the procedures that we have with COVID, it takes that extra step, and that's why it creates so much more work. So, I mean, as good as COVID has been for golf, I mean, it takes a big toll, I think, on the guy, like everyone behind the scenes who's working, like going back down to Florida, like all the guys, when they finish up their nights and they clean, our 62 cart fleet, they got to sanitize everything, wash it over again and over. And when they take them out again in the morning. So, I mean, it's just creating a lot more work, but I mean, it's great that we're still able to provide this advice for everyone to get out and get away and forget that this pandemic's even happening. Granted, down here, it seems like not many people care, and it's kind of scary, honestly, but it doesn't matter if it's here or up north, but it's great that we still have this way to get more people involved in the game. I mean, it stinks to think that COVID is a reason why golf is growing, but the game's got to take what it can get. And if it's going to still cause the surge of the game to start younger kids or just get more people playing, then so be it, But I mean, like I was saying, overall, it's the business season. I mean, it was the busiest year that we've ever had. And I know Eric can probably.
Yeah, I mean, not just golf. We saw some pretty crazy records broken in other departments too, tennis and even in some of our food and beverage departments. And it really kind of comes down to in the private club industry right now, members are not just supporting their club, but they trust their club, and they're going to go to their club first for dinner before going to a restaurant downtown. And they're going to go play golf at their club before going and playing a nicer golf course, whether it be down the road or a few miles away. I think the private club industry is one of the very few industries that is ultimately going to come out of COVID stronger than it entered COVID, which is pretty crazy to say, given everything that's happened with COVID and all the industries that are really struggling. But personally, one of the biggest effects I think I've seen from COVID and the game of golf, and then even not just the game of golf, is having an appreciation for things, and specifically having appreciation for golf. So, I mean, in March, April, when COVID really kind of was a brand new thing to us, we really didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how long it was going to be around for. We had a good group of friends here in Charlottesville where we were playing golf once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week together. And we weren't playing golf together because all of us love the game of golf and we needed to play 72 holes a week. We were playing golf together at that time because it was our only outlet for social interaction. We lost being able to go to a bar together at night. We lost being able to go hang out at a restaurant and go out to dinner. And golf kind of really was that vessel that, you know, brought to light the appreciation all of us have for little things like social interaction and friendship, and just being surrounded by the game of golf all summer, spending time with each other. We also realized how much we appreciate the game of golf. And I think that going forward, I mean, COVID is one of the best things that could have happened to the game of golf, as crazy as it is to say. I think coming out of COVID, hopefully in 6 months or a year from now, COVID is long behind us. But at that point, COVID still was probably something that was great for the game of golf, as terrible as it is to say, as many people that were so terribly affected by what has happened in the last just about a year. Golf is really something that has benefited from it, and not because people have discovered that they love hitting a ball off a tee and going and finding it. They've discovered the other great things about the game of golf that we all enjoy: the social interaction, being able to spend 4.5 hours outside, just walking around and having a good time, having good conversation, and looking forward to kind of being able to spend that time with each other when there really wasn't many other options at the beginning of COVID. And I think going forward, it's going to be something that really everyone in the industry, in the private club industry, looks back on as something that ultimately revived the game of golf.
Yeah, no, I think an interesting take, and I agree with what you guys are both chatting about. And, you know, Eric, you made me kind of think about it when you said, you know, having a little perspective and appreciation. You know, the more and more I think about the game of golf, and, you know, I appreciate it for what it's kind of brought to my life as far as friendships. And, you know, I think I spoke a little bit more about, you know, before about, you know, being able to travel to some fun places and, you know, have those experiences as well. But, you know, I feel like so many of my friends have come from the game of golf, and those relationships have gotten stronger because of the game of golf. And I see it even with like my current friendship and my current friend group in Chicago. You know, we have a group of guys that I wouldn't say really are golfers, but they've caught the bug, and it's like, it's all they want to do. It's all they want to chat about. It's like, you know, I'm getting text messages about like, you know, who should I bet on the RSM Classic this weekend? Like, I barely even watched the RSM Classic this weekend. You know, and I get guys that can't break 100, and, you know, they want to know the ins and the outs of the field, who's the sponsors exemptions, like, you know, like what are they doing? Like, you know, I think it's just cool content, and you know, it's fun to see people get excited about that. And you know, selfishly, it's awesome for me because I just get to spend more time, you know, playing golf, and it's great too to like have a little bit of a less competitive group, because I can go out there and have a couple drinks and you know, show them a couple things. And so that's been a lot of fun as well. And I think we'd be remiss to not comment on the fact that Joey called the game of golf a vice, as if it's chain smoking cigarettes. Like that's what I consider a vice, and he's calling golf a vice. So I don't know what your guys' opinions are on that, but it's interesting. But I guess it could be a vice. You know, you spend a lot of time doing it.
Like, I mean, obviously, work like there, like especially up north, like there is members that come by every single day, and like it's raining, it's the worst weather ever, like, and they still come, and it's literally just like you can't take one day off. Like, no, they need to do it, but like sometimes the sick thing is like I'm getting all bent out of shape that they're coming because, like, I'm getting ready to close up and they come and I can't close up. But, like, at the end of the day, I just want to close up early so I can go do the same thing they're doing.
Yeah.
I think back, like, I'm later on, I'm like, well, I can't get, like, too mad at them because, like, half the time I'm doing the same exact thing that they are. But there is certain days you're just like, all right, like, really, it's 28 degrees out in a freaking freezing wind that's 20 miles an hour and you're out there playing, and no, they're still out there grinding. So I mean, you got to respect it, but I mean, it's nuts. You see some crazy members, man, I tell you.
Yeah, I guess I take it back. I take back what I said, but I think we'll transition here to kind of a couple quick hitters. I think we'll go around, and this should give the listeners a little bit more perspective on, what we like to do within the game of golf, but also outside. And my first question is go-to cocktail order. Joe, lead us off. What do you got?
I've always been a big G&T guy, but I've been really getting into some old fashions. So like those have kind of been, or I always like a Maker's Mark, and so I'm a wild card. I change it up. I don't have one go-to. Like it depends on my mood, but I'd put those three up there.
I respect all of those.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you got?
I'd say we're going to go back recently. So recently for me, it's a Manhattan. I'd say in the last 6 months, that's kind of been my go-to, specifically a rye Manhattan up. And I mean, it's a simple classic cocktail, and I think something that everyone needs to experience in their life.
I've never had a Manhattan. Still need to try one. It's on my list.
Culture yourself, Joe.
I'm getting there, boys. I just tried old-fashioned for the first time in 26 years, all right? Let me go more.
Joey, I'm with you on the cocktails here. These ones sound awfully fancy for my liking. I'm much more simple when it comes to my cocktails. I mean, I think if I were to pick my go-to, if I'm on the golf course, it's almost always going to be some kind of beer, right? But if I'm doing, like a post-round dinner, something like that, maybe get into some wine or a good vodka soda, never hurt anybody. That's usually a good staple to mix in every once in a while. But yeah, I think those are like my main food groups I like to stay in. It all just depends on the day, the mood, the golf, what I'm up to. But those are kind of my main categories. And then, mix in a whiskey here and there as a little nightcap if you need it.
Do you have a favorite, vodka soda? It's pretty standard, but is there someone special who you like pouring a vodka soda for you?
Ooh. There's a few bartenders at the old club that I was a member at that made some pretty mean vodka sodas.
So a club vodka soda with some lime or something is always going to hit the spot.
Absolutely. Can't mess that up.
Yeah, and if I had to answer my own question here, I think I really like an old fashioned with some good bourbon, usually something relatively strong just to fight through that sweetness a little bit. But then also if I'm, trying to get a little wild, I'll go tequila soda, Casamigos Blanca, double up on the lime. I've also, occasionally on like a Sunday morning, if you've had a tough Saturday night, tequila soda with a noon tablet for hydration is one of my go-tos. So like if you have to get up really early on a Sunday and you're out playing golf or, maybe battling through a brunch with the wife, like that's, that could be a go-to kind of situation as well.
For the record, none of us are married.
Yeah, no, nobody married. Vodka Pedialyte, though. Don't sleep on them on those Sunday mornings when you need a little help.
No, I speak hypothetically about that. If you got a couple of good-looking girls that like to play golf, send them our way.
But my girlfriend get mad at me.
But okay, another kind of quick hitter here, and I think this is a pretty common question in the golf world. Dream foursome, Mr. Fontaine kicks off.
I've been thinking about this all day. I think I landed on a pretty wild group here. I picked 3 different guys for 3 very different reasons. I don't know how it would mix in a foursome, but in my hypothetical world, we're going to find out. So first and foremost, obviously Tiger Woods. I don't know if I really need to explain that, but Tiger Woods will be in any dream foursome situation I have. 2, I went Anthony Kim.
Ooh.
Anthony Kim might have the most ridiculous, like, golf story in the way it impacted his life, like, that I can possibly imagine. Like, complete roller coaster for, I don't even know how long he was a pro for, but I want to know more about whatever happened with that guy and also see, like, if he can still play. I don't know. That's a wild card pick that I would need to know more about. And then my final guy to round out the foursome would be Kevin Kisner, just because he seems like a guy that we could not even, like, talk about anything golf that's too serious and just, like, have beers out there and, like, get into some weird drinking game or a little side competitive action, like side match, and it'd be an awesome time. I think he'd be by far the funnest guy to play with. And then I need to know more about Anthony Kim, so I put him in there too.
I mean, Anthony Kim he's what people call the white whale of golf media right now. He's just fallen off the face of the planet.
Let's get him on.
Get a hold of him. Nobody knows what he's up to. Hasn't even been a picture of him on Twitter in the last, I don't know how many years.
Let's get him on here. Even more reason to get him in my dream foursome.
Yeah. All right. I'll take next one. Fontaine, great choices there. I'm going much different here. Kind of going away from the game of golf and just thinking personalities. As far as my teammate, and we'll battle against some golfers. So I want my teammate to be Eric Church. I want him out there. I don't even know if he plays golf, but he's from North Carolina. He's probably swung the sticks a time or two, but I want him on my side because, it's just going to be a great day out there. And then we're going to play against in a 4-ball match against probably the 2 guys on tour I dislike the most. And that would be Ian Poulter and Bubba Watson. So if I'm going to go out there and play golf, I want a couple bucks on it. I want it to be competitive, but I also want to just bury my opponents. And I can't imagine that there would be anyone else that I would like to beat more than Bubba Watson and Ian Poulter. So for that reason, Eric Church and I will be playing them, and hopefully we take care of business. Hopefully I bring my A game because I don't know if Church has ever swung club, but it's all right.
You might be in trouble there, but I'm rooting for you for sure.
They'll give us 8. They'll give us like 12 aside, and we'll have a shot. And who wants to take it off next?
Joseph, what do you got?
Oh, fuck. All right.
Now we got to put an E next to the podcast.
That's all right. I'm pretty sure we swore last one too.
I'm gonna keep it golf because I can't get into personalities right now. I haven't been prepared for that one. So obviously, as Fontaine has stated, Tiger Woods. Number 2, honestly, I would probably go Arnold. I read my sister for Christmas one year got me his last autobiography, and I never really knew anything about him. But after reading a book about him, I don't know, he just grew on me a lot more. And working at an Arnold Palmer signature course down here, it's kind of just added to that, just kind of coincidence that made me like him even more. I mean, granted, he didn't design our course by any means, but it was actually the last course that he overlooked before he passed away. So, I mean, that's a kind of cool fact about us. At least that's what I was told. The fourth. I might actually go Michael Jordan.
Ooh, there you go.
I think that'd be really cool.
Greatness. You just got to be around.
Yeah, I was either going to go him or Phil because I love Phil. I know you guys might not like him as much, but then Jordan just kind of hit me, and I just think that would be amazing. So, I mean, it's Jordan.
They have a couple good stogies.
You don't need really any other explanation about him either, but yeah. I don't know. I feel like to hear the stories the 3 of them, not even together, but the stories the 3 of them can tell is just absolutely absurd.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Jordan will take you to his golf course. What's it called? Something. It's
The
something
Grove
23.
The
Grove
Grove,
23.
it's a pretty crazy spot.
Yeah.
Cool,
So
man. That's
that-
been the tough thing though.
It's set up for him
That's
too.
the
The
bad thing
shorter you
with
hit it,
golf.
the wider the fairways are. So when he's playing these matches against pros, they're hitting into fairways that are the size of a couch, and he's hitting into fairways the size of the Atlantic Ocean.
Smart man.
Hey. Hey, you got the cash. You got the cash to design the course. You know, you have the ability to make those decisions.
Exactly.
But Eric, what about yourself? Finish us off on this category.
So I approached it a little different. I going three people from three different kind of industries, backgrounds. So to start, an athlete, but not a golfer. Going to Mr. Derek Jeter.
I knew that.
I knew that was something. Second he said not a
I, was
golfer.
wait, I wanted to say it for you, honestly.
I guess one of the other ones too.
My favorite athlete of all time, as big of a Yankee fan that I am. He was a rookie the year that I was born, so Derek Jeter's always been around for me. Starting to dabble a little bit into golf, but now he owns the Miami Marlins, so he's got a lot on his plate. And then next into someone who is involved with golf. He's not necessarily he's a golfer, but never played professional golf. But someone who I recently have kind of taken interest in is Tom Coyne. He wrote the book, A Course Called Ireland. He also founded the Golfer's Journal. He is a pretty incredible writer, has an incredible perspective on the game of golf. And to a little bit of background, that book specifically, A Course Called Ireland, he walked essentially the entire perimeter of the country of Ireland and played every single links course along the way, and wrote a book about it, about the stories in between the golf courses. The cover says, "A long walk in search of a country, a pint, and the next tee." And I've read 4 of his books now, and then the Golfer's Journal is also pretty incredible content that he's put together. And so he would be number 2. And then lastly, going to another book, non-athlete, nothing to do with golf, but hospitality. His name is Danny Meyer. He founded Shake Shack. He founded one of the best restaurants in the city of New York, the Gramercy Tavern. And I got to listen to him speak in February, and he just tying into some of the things we talked about earlier, perspective and everything, his perspective on life and his perspective on service and hospitality is pretty crazy, and he makes it so relatable. Really, it's not about golf with him in my foursome. It's being able to spend 4 hours with him. So that kind of where my foursome gets rounded out. There's definitely some honorable mentions that I considered throwing in there: Bruce Springsteen, Frank Sinatra, Tiger Woods' father. But
Nice.
I like that.
That is where we're at right now with the dream.
Imagine his father, Tiger, and Charlie. That
Audible timeout. That's my dream foursome. I wouldn't even play. I'd drive in the cart. I just need to see how you guys interact, like how this all happens. That also could just trigger Charlie into just being Tiger 2.0 right there. Might just be good for the next 25 years ago.
wow.
Yeah,
I think we actually just thought of the perfect dream foursome.
Yeah, no, Eric, I think those are all great people and very interesting. It's a little bit of a kind of a business twist on it. We got some networking, we got some all that good stuff, but you chat a little bit about Ireland in there. And I think the next question would be, where's kind of that place that's currently on top of your list for destinations, be it, some sort of golf intertwined, but, can have some of these additional pieces of, whether it include, alcohol, whether it be a vineyard or breweries or some, bourbon trail or something like that. Where's kind of number one on your list right now for places you want to go?
So for me right now, it would be Sweetens Cove. It's in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee. And this is, as far as golf trips and golf destinations go, it's, I would say, probably the most golf focused destination that I could have picked. I mean, really, there's not much going on in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee, besides this 9-hole golf course. And it's the only 9-hole golf course in the country that is the #1 public course in their state. It's really just a pretty cool place. There's not a lot of rules there. You can go out in a sixsome, take your shoes off, blast some music, play with 2 clubs between your group of 6, and really have a good time. I think just kind of being the age that we are, these destinations where you can play as much golf as you want is something that is attractive at the time. And a pretty cool concept that they follow is they don't sell tee times. They sell all day passes, kind of like a ski resort. So they sell 40 all day passes every day. And that's it. You can go out, you can play 9 holes, you can play 81 holes, you can play 230 holes if you want to. I think that's right around where the daily record is for them. But that would be where the top of my list right now for a golf trip. There's not really too much to do other than play golf, and then sit around a fire and have some drinks in the evening, and then get up and do it again the next day.
You tell me we got to go break that record of 81 holes in a day?
It's about
230.
I could do that.
And I'll tell you, he played with, I think, like 2 or 3 clubs and had like a marathon running suit on.
600.
Yeah, makes sense. Fontaine, if you're booking the travel, where are we headed?
Oh, so many options. You know, you alluded to Ireland earlier. We do have a trip coming up going to Ireland. I'll save that Ireland talk for when we talk about that trip, so I'll pass on that one as being the top destination. But I think just being like, you know, recent memory, I really want to do Bandon. After watching the USAM this year and, you know, kind of looking into the course a little bit, seeing like, you know, outside of the championship course that they play the USAM at, obviously, it's like a whole, I mean, they have multiple courses out there, kind of that on the coast view, and like all like links golf in America, like all that kind of vibe. Like I'm here for that. And I think it's a similar environment where it's, you know, you go out, you play, you know, whether it's 18, 36, depending on which course you're playing, hop on one of the 9-holers they have out there, whatever it is. And then it's just like, again, you know, grab a drink after, grab dinner, like at the local spot they got. And just like the camaraderie of being able to just spend like, you know, whatever it is, 4 or 5 days, long weekend, whatever you do, all in one spot and not play the same 18 holes every day, and be able to kind of do a different thing every day and have it all kind of tie together without, you know, having to hop in a van and drive 2 hours and all that stuff. That's the ideal golf trip for me. I just golf junkie, wake up in the morning, 18, you know, lunch, whatever, go out for an emergency 9 in between, go back, dinner, drinks, whatever, and kind of rinse and repeat that every day. Mixing in a couple different courses is ideal for me.
Yeah, no, I'm right on line with what you're thinking, because you took Bandon out of my pocket here. I'm gonna go. You know, with living in Chicago and being relatively close, I think I'm going to Sand Valley. It's a relatively new place in Wisconsin. They have two courses. I think they're building a third, but both are extremely highly rated in the top 100 in the country, and you know, top few in the state of Wisconsin, which is pretty golf rich with you know, Whistling Straits and Black Wolf Run and Erin Hills as well. So I think that's where I'm headed, and you know, if I'm lucky enough and the money works out, I'm going to stay right on property, and I'm gonna play golf. And you know, they have like a putting course there as well that looks pretty interesting, and we're gonna play golf, we're gonna have dinner, we're gonna sit outside at night and, you know, sip on a couple glasses of whatever they got on you know, at the course, and you know, we're gonna enjoy that. Joseph, what do you got on tap for us?
All right, well, I mean, freaking Fontaine took Bandon, you took Santa, so I'll go. Honestly, I still have yet to make my way to Pinehurst. I know all you guys have kind of been there, so it's definitely a course area I would love to make a trip to, and eventually will make a trip to. But you know, the only course I've played in that area, you know, was Tobacco Road, and that was one of the most fun golf courses I've literally ever played, and I would love to go back. So I mean, on my commutes from north to south or south to north, I've contemplated on stopping at Pinehurst, but I kind of refuse to because I want my first experience there to be like as a buddy trip. And, I would like to experience it with friends rather than go alone, which you can do at many other courses. But I feel like, Pinehurst is something that you should really do with, a group of friends for your first time. So I'd probably go with Pinehurst, because there's also all those other great courses in the area. So maybe I'll hit one of those on my way back up, but time will tell.
Hey, Joseph, it's absolutely spectacular. Eric, Matt, and I have been lucky enough to spend some time there, and I think we'd be more than happy to show you the ropes at a place like Pinehurst. So
I told Eric my goal is to go for long enough that I can play every single Pinehurst course, like Pinehurst Resort course.
Yeah,
I'd like to go to see the other courses, but that would have to be like a different week. But yeah, I don't know. If I go somewhere, I need to see every single course. That's just kind of how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely got to separate those two because there's so many good ones outside of it. And obviously Pinehurst has enough on property too to keep you pretty busy. So you definitely got to split the two just with everything that's out there.
I might try to hit Mid Pines on my way up or one of those if I can, but we'll see.
Mid Pines is so good.
That's the only place you need to go, Joe, is Mid Pines.
So good.
Better than Pine Needles?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think it's more fun.
It's definitely more fun. It's definitely more fun. Pine Needles tortures you. You can torture yourself a little bit out there.
I torture myself anywhere, Michael.
You get beat up pretty much anywhere.
Literally.
Yep. All right. So final one, boys, before we wrap this thing up. You're going out for emergency 9 at your local club. You just got your buddies with you. You got, doesn't matter. They're college buddies. They're friends from the club, whatever. What are you playing on the speaker? What drink do you have in hand? And, are you guys playing a match? Are you playing a game? I'll kick us off. I think we're playing some sort of country music. Might go to my favorite album of all time. I think it's Charleston, 1966, Darius Rucker. So we might play that one. Or we might play something from church. If he happens to be in the group, then I'd be happy to let him sing a couple. But
let him get a song or two on the aux.
And then I think I'm drinking some sort of beer. I'm pretty partial to Miller Lite, maybe a Labatt Blue. So I think one of those, just sipping on that, keep maybe one a hole, and then we're probably playing a game of Wolf. I think, if it's more than 4 of us, we're definitely playing a game of Wolf. We got 6 of us out there. So that's my emergency 9. Joseph, what do we got on the speakers to start us off?
So usually when I play, I don't run the music. As you guys know, as I do like country, I am more of a rap guy, but I don't always play that on the course because, it's golf. But, Dave Matthews is obviously a very big go-to for me, and that's golf course appropriate. So that's probably what I'm throwing on. As far as drinks go, it's going to be a beer. I don't really prefer drinking while playing anyway, but like you said, emergency back 9, it's okay. So Michelob Ultra or a nice Miller Lite, probably one of those two. And as far as the game goes, I'm just good old classic match play. Just simple. It's easy. Not much to worry about. And, it keeps it competitive, but, you still have fun at the same time. So not the most exciting emergency back 9, but gets the job done.
Hey, sounds like a blast to me. I'm happy to hop down to Florida and play that emergency with you anytime.
I'd love
Eric, what do you got, Eric?
I would say to start, probably.
Oh, goodbye.
There he goes. He was frozen, so I thought that was going to happen. So I guess I'll just jump in here, go with my emergency 9, and hopefully Eric gets back on soon. But if I'm going emergency 9, music, I'm going country, but I'm going to go live country just to, differentiate a little bit. I'm going to throw some live country on there, whether it's live Eric Church, maybe throw a little live Kenny Chesney. I don't know. I'm going live country music. And then drinking, just beers. Let's keep it simple. Grab a bag of beers, throw it in the cart. Let's get it moving. And then match, just almost always 4-ball matchups are just the best way to do it, I think. Get you competitive enough, but you can also like make a 10 and like move on. You know, it's not like, you know, you don't lose $40 and your emergency nine's ruined if you make a double real quick, which we're all prone to do, especially if some beverages are involved. But yeah, I think that's my emergency 9. That's my automatic setup for emergency 9.
All right, Eric, finish us off here.
I'm going with high noon, specifically grapefruit.
Nice, Quacks.
I'm a big high noon fan. If there's no high noons available, I'll dabble into the White Claws, but those are kind of my go-to afternoon 9 beverage. Music, I'm going to play a little bit off of Fontaine's live country, but go a little bit more specific. 61 Days in Church. It's about 12 hours straight of live Eric Church that he released last year, and I think if our emergency 9 goes into extra holes, we'll have plenty of music to get us through. I don't know. I think I'm gonna copy Mike and go with Wolf. Wolf is such a good emergency 9 game, and you could get a little creative, throw some dots in there too, and then get the multipliers going with the dots. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, nope.
With the game of Wolf.
I need to play that again.
Yeah, no, emergency 9 is unique in itself, and I think we all enjoy getting out there after a nice competitive round of golf and going to play a fun, whether it be 9 holes or even 4 or 5 holes before the dark comes in. So
I'll tell you what, we should do this emergency 9 at Winter Park. That course was a blast.
Yeah.
I want to go back there. I've debated on taking a 3-hour drive just to play it again.
Joseph,
Joe, be down.
Joe, don't divulge too much. We will definitely find a segment for you to just, bring us down the map on your journey from New Hampshire to Florida, and then back up. We can bookend it with your Florida, New Hampshire again. In the spring. So let's table that one.
All right.
And I can already see the smile on your face, and you're cheesing to tell us about it. So let's hold off on that. But we appreciate everybody listening here. It's always fun to chat with you boys, whether it be golf, couple cocktails, or anything more. But yeah, it's a blast to see everyone's faces, and hopefully we can find some time to get on the golf course. Have a dinner together, hopefully sometime soon. So enjoy it. See you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Adios.